Coming up, it's the best keyboard for your iPad Pro, a camera that sees all, and our choices for your Christmas gift list. You gotta watch before you buy.
Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for Before You Buy is brought to you by CashFly at CACHEFLY.com.
This episode of Before You Buy is brought to you by Ting.com. Ting is a mobile phone service that helps you save money by offering a fair price for the services that you use. Visit beforeyoubuy.ting.com to get $25 towards your first device or service and to find out how much you can save. And by iFixit. Introducing the all-new Pro Tech Toolkit, the compact and complete toolkit for all things gadget repair. For $10 off your purchase of $50 or more, go to iFixit.com/twit and enter the code Before You Buy at checkout. Hello and welcome to Before You Buy. It's Twit's product review show where we take the latest and greatest gadgets and gizmos and we give them to the people who can give you the most honest reviews possible. I'm Father Robert Ballecer, the digital Jesuit, and you know, the first thing we wanted to do is take a look at this emerging market of immersive camera, immersive video, immersive content. Now, there's been a couple of products on the market that can do 360 video and photography so that you can look at it later on. But none has been more compact, more compelling, and more interesting to our very own Uncle Leo than the Ricoh Theta S.
I just got a new camera, and actually some of you have probably already seen me play with it because I can't stop playing with it. It's the new Ricoh Theta S. Yeah, this is it. It's a tiny little device. Fits in your pocket. It's about the size of a candy bar, one of those old Nokia candy bar phones. I'll show you the controls real quickly, then I'll tell you what it does. This is a camera for a very special use. On-off switch, that turns the Wi-Fi off and on. That's important. I'll show you why in a second. This switch goes between still and video. Yeah, it's a video camera as well. There's a big button for taking the picture, and then these indicators tell you what mode it's in. Right now I've got the Wi-Fi turned on, the camera turned on. You do want to keep it in this, they provide a kind of padded, inexpensive padded case, and you do want to keep it in this because these are glass lenses. These are good lenses. There's two of them on the camera, front and back. And they're very wide fisheye lenses, maybe 8mm lenses. What's great about that is each lens is capturing 180 degrees in both directions. It sees everything above and below, everything to the left and right. So when you combine images from the two cameras, you're going to get a full 360-degree sphere. Again, in audio, in still as well as in video. Now, you're going to need some special software, obviously, to use this. They have software available for Mac and Windows. You can connect the camera. It has a USB connector, micro USB connector. By the way, it also has a mini HDMI connector. I'll tell you a little more about that in a second. So when you connect it up to the PC or the Mac, you offload it just like a regular camera. Or what's nice is you can use the Theta software for iOS and Android. I'm connected to the camera right now via Wi-Fi. The camera is password protected so nobody else can join it. And I can control the camera via the Wi-Fi. That's really great. Yeah, allow it to use the location. So what you're going to see in a moment as soon as it copies over is the wide, look at that. That's the wide look that it's getting. Now, that's not what the image is going to look like, but it gives you some idea of what you're seeing, including my hand holding the camera. All right. You do have a few settings here. You can change the exposure, setting it up or down. And there are a few other options that you can mess with. I find that it's like a point-and-shoot camera. It's pretty good. Video is 1080p, which is really good. It's fun to take high-def videos. Then once you take your image, actually, let me take an image so we can play with it a little bit. So let me go out of this again and go back to the Theta software. You want the software for remote control. It's nice to have it on your phone because you don't want to get your hand in the image. So let me just take a quick picture here. Let's put this somewhere interesting. I'll put it up on top of the TV set there. It doesn't matter. I think one of the things that is fun with this is people say, oh, no, you got to point it at me. No, it doesn't matter. You don't have to point it at anything because it's going to get everything. So it doesn't matter who's in front of the camera. I'm going to snap the picture now. Look nonchalant. and it's going to synthesize the image. It's going to copy it over to the iPad where I'll be able to see it as a 360-degree image. Let's do that real quickly. Oops, this is photos I've copied already. Here's the camera, the actual images in the camera. There's 3 sections, not transferred, transferred, and all. So the picture I just took has not yet been transferred over. It's going to use the Wi-Fi to copy it over. Just takes a few seconds. And the software itself is going to stitch the image and allow me to see it as a 360-degree image. This is the picture I just took. There's Carson, our producer, sitting there. There's John Slanina. Here I am right here pressing the remote button. It goes all the way around. Whoops, it's stuck here for a second. Maybe it was just too big of an image. And now this image you obviously aren't going to want to upload. Hello? Yeah, something happened here? Let's go out of it. I took some other images, including some videos here. If you go to leoville.com, I have some pictures and images, and to talk a little bit more about the details on this, let's take another picture over here. This one I took while I was holding it, and this is one of the things it does that's very interesting. It takes itself out of the picture. If you hold it, or you put it on a tripod, you're going to get a weird-looking picture of your hand in the image. Notice there's no hole at the top. A lot of 360-degree cameras, there's a little hole at the top and the bottom. Not this. The Ricoh software stitches it really well. So that's a handheld one versus the one I took a little bit earlier. Let's go back to the one I took a little bit earlier where I used the remote control. Yeah, now it's moving. And you see, there's no camera visible, even though that's where the camera would be, is right there. Really an interesting image. And you saw how fast it did it. Video is even more intriguing. It'll record up to 25 minutes of video in 1080p. The stitching software it offers on PC and Mac doesn't do a great job. It's pretty quick. It does a great job with stills. This is a high-quality still. But video seems to be a little softer than the actual images captured. And I feel like in time, a better stitching software could come out. There is an API. Ricoh is encouraging people to write software that works with this camera, which is a great idea, especially because the one feature I'm most interested in, live video out, doesn't work currently. Yes, you can get live video out of there, but what you'll get is unstitched video. We're waiting to see if somebody writes real-time software that would allow you to do a live 360-degree show. Wouldn't that be fun to offer a version of Twit in real time where if you put on Google Cardboard or the Galaxy Gear VR, you could actually look around and see what's going on inside the show, be kind of in the audience of the show as we're doing it. That's my hope with this. But meanwhile, I've got a really great 360-degree camera that has software that lets me easily look at the images. You can put them on Ricoh's own site. They have a site for sharing them. It's called theta360.com. When you go to the 360 site, you can see my images, but you can see lots of other people's images. And it also displays those images in a way that you can kind of browse around. This is our recent staff meeting, and I took a picture of this. You can zoom in and out, and this will give you some idea of the image quality. I won't zoom in on anybody but me, so nobody else is embarrassed. But you can zoom in and out, and you see the image quality is pretty good. Good enough that you've got to be careful when you're using this camera not to take pictures of important company classified information. It'd be easy enough to read that information if somebody's zoomed in. I really have a great time with this camera. You get these amazing 360-degree images. Again, if you're going to post them on the internet, you're going to probably want to post a link to the Theta 360 site. I'll show you. That's how I did it on my blog post. You can also post to YouTube, and I'll talk about that. If you don't do that, you're going to get this weird image, because this is the unsynthesized image of the two wide-angle lenses. The flattened version, I don't find that interesting. I think that that's okay. That's the kind of stuff you wouldn't need special software to view, but I love it when you can link back to the Theta 360 site and see these images. Let me show you what happens when you do video. I have some of the video here on my Android phone. This works basically the same with Android and iOS. And when you go to YouTube, you'll notice YouTube and Facebook both support this kind of 360-degree video. I guess it's a fairly standard form of video. So when you go to it, you'll see a couple of things. First, you'll see the cardboard icon. That means this is cardboard compatible. So if you turned your phone sideways and you inserted it in the cardboard device, it would give you stereo images, 3D images that you can look around. But even if you're not, look what happens with the phone. It's motion sensitive. And this is, by the way, video I'm playing back. So you can actually see, I'll turn the audio up. This is the first 15 minutes of my radio show from last week. You really can't, I can't turn it too much. But you can see I can move around. I can do it with my fingers, but it also uses the accelerometer of the phone. So this can give you a real 3D experience, even if you don't have Google Cardboard. Of course, Google Cardboard is very affordable, only costs a few bucks, depending on where you get it. You can get fancier versions. The Gear VR is, there you go, 99 bucks. But even on YouTube, you can move around like this. But you see, if you look just at the image itself, it's a little smearier than the stills. I think the camera is capable of better video, but the stitching software that Ricoh distributes for free with the camera is, I think, tuned to be speedy, not accurate, not as accurate. Stitching, though, is very good. You very rarely will you see any stitching issues. Even when you're looking at the camera, look down. You see that little line there? That's the only stitching issue in this whole thing, and that's because it's stitched out the camera. That's where the camera would be, and I don't find that a problem at all. So let's talk about availability and the pros and cons. First of all, as I might have mentioned, I got this on Amazon, but it's back ordered. B&H Photo will also have it. $350. Don't pay more. I'm sure there are scalpers out there saying, oh, you know, you can get it for $400 or more, trying to make a little money off the fact that this is back ordered. But be patient. You will get it. I ordered it the minute they announced it, and I've been having a great time with it. It does, as I said, stills and video. So the pros and cons, the still quality is excellent. The video quality is potentially excellent, although the lack of good stitching software is definitely a con. Similarly, there's, as far as I know, Ricoh doesn't offer any live stitching software. So the fact that it has an HDMI port, while that's cool, is not yet. It's a future. The controls are easy. It has iOS and Android, Mac and PC support. That's a definite pro. And I think $350 is an amazing price given what this camera is doing. The con, of course, is that's the only kind of picture it can take, and you can't just give those pictures to people. You have to post them on a site or stitch them in such a way that people can see them. It is a pro that you can post it on YouTube and Facebook now. The fact that they both support 360-degree video shows that there is there's a lot of support for this kind of virtual reality. Think of it as a do-it-yourself VR still and video camera. And as far as I'm concerned, it's a definite buy. The Ricoh Theta S. You can expect to see a lot more 360-degree pictures from me. And I think the size is great because I'll be carrying this around as I travel. And yeah, I'll be using my good cameras most of the time, but every once in a while I'll pull it out, get a 360-degree image or a 360-degree video, even better. How fun is that to have that? And I suspect that while it's early days for immersive video and VR, in years to come, this will be a very standard format, and people will be very glad that Grandpa took the early 360-degree pictures. That's it. Back to you, Robert.
I know that at $350, it sounds like this is a really expensive toy that most people aren't going to want to get. But I think the consensus around the studio has been, these are cool shots. These are interesting shots. And as Leo said, this is very early days in VR 360 technology. Expect to see more products at lower price points, at higher resolutions, and eventually, I think a 360 view is going to be as standard on phones as Panorama is now. Now, that's a buy for the Ricoh Theta S. If you are looking for something a little different for your family vacation, you may want to pick one up. Now, coming up next, we're heading out of the studio over to San Francisco. We decided to do a little tech that was a little anti-techy, so we looked around PepCon, their digital experience coming up into CES, asking what do they have that reaches out to people who wouldn't normally be enthused by the latest tablet or laptop. And what we found was, well, there's a big sector and a want for people with green thumbs. Now, if you're like me, you're good at tech, you're horrible at gardening, which is why we're here at the Holiday Spectacular in San Francisco taking a look at the AeroGardens from AeroGrow. Now, this is a way to combine your love of technology with, well, your desire to grow something living. I'm speaking with Tigran from AeroGrow, who's going to explain what they might be able to do for techies who want a green thumb. Tigran, what gave you the idea of making an automated grow system?
Well, not everybody can grow outside, and not everybody has a space to grow outside. So we decided to come up with the AeroGarden. And the AeroGarden uses no soil, it's soil-free, and it just uses water. So if you want to see right here, it has all the roots right there and in water, and you can grow anything that grows above the land. So, and they come in these little seed pods, and they come pre-seeded already with peat moss. If you'd like, you can get your own seeds and grow whatever you'd like.
I love this approach. It's a lot like Keurig for gardening. You get the pod that you want, you put it into your slot, and you're good to go. Now, what I like about these systems is they're not just a self-contained grow light. You also have a circulation system there to make sure that the nutrients get evenly distributed between all the pods. Tell me, what are the different levels that they can get? Because I know you start all the way down at $70 for the smallest unit. How advanced and complicated can they get?
They really don't get any complicated than this. They come, you can customize everything, and with the smaller ones, you literally just fill up the water and put in the pods and add your nutrients, and that's it. And the same thing with the bigger ones, except for you get to customize when you want the lights to come on and everything.
Tigran, I have to say, I have tried growing things before, and I have had apps and little scales to help me measure out nutrients. I have managed to kill absolutely everything. Are you telling me that if I pick up one of these AeroGardens, I might actually be able to grow some herbs that don't look like they were grown in the desert?
Yes, I can guarantee you can grow.
If they want to find out more about the AeroGarden line, about what they have from AeroGrow, where can they go and when will these be available?
AeroGarden.com, and they will be out for this Christmas season.
Father Robert Ballecer taking a look at the latest and the greatest in growing technology. And if you want to grow a garden, you probably should make it an AeroGarden. Now, we are having the inevitable discussion in the chat room of what exactly can you grow under the herbs section of the feature set. But I will just say this, it's interesting technology that I would personally love to have in my lab. I'd love to have in my studio because, well, who doesn't want to grow something? Now, we will try to get an AeroGarden into Twit at some point, either on Know-How or the new screensavers, wherever it may fit best. But until then, if you are looking for a way to grow something in your previously ungreen tech space, you may want to check them out. Now, when we come back, we're taking a look at a keyboard for this, the iPad Pro. You've heard us talk about it here on the Twit TV network. Megan really loves hers. In fact, this is hers. I'm going to try to steal it after the show if she doesn't get it fast enough. But the idea is it's more of a laptop. It's for people who want a little bit more real estate. But to have that real estate, you want a nice keyboard. You want a nice setup. You want a nice way to get your input into the tablet. She's going to be taking a look at some products from Logitech to see if maybe that's the one you want for your new shiny iPad Pro. But before we do that, let's go ahead and thank the first sponsor of this episode of Before You Buy, and it's Ting. Now, let me ask you, are you tired of your current mobile vendor? The answer is probably going to be yes, because about 90% of us think our mobile vendors are not giving us value. Well, folks, you could get mad, or you could vote with your money. That's exactly what Ting enables you to do. Now, Ting is upgraded. I know you've probably heard about Ting on the Twit TV network, but since they were last on the network, they now use both T-Mobile, which is a GSM network, and Sprint, which is a CDMA network. So you get the best of both networks under one provider. It's a phone service that doesn't believe in contracts. They don't believe in overage fees, and they don't believe in charging you something special for an unlimited plan and then taking that away from you. Ting offers you exactly what you need when you need it, and you pay for what you use. How revolutionary of a business idea is that? Now, whether you're one person, a small family, or a business, they've got a plan that fits your budget. And it's really simple. How you use your phone determines what you pay. I mean, isn't that how they should all be? The average monthly bill with Ting is $23 per device, and the annual savings for a business with 11 to 20 employees is $440 per device. Do the math. This is a massive amount of money that you can save while still getting the same service. Ting has no contracts, and you'll only pay for what you use each month. There are absolutely no overage charges or penalties. With their business plan, you get an unlimited number of devices on one account. Now, these accounts are easy to manage, and they allow you to set caps on both the devices and at the account level, but you're doing it, not the telco. It's also great for families. Since the usage is pooled, the more usage between the devices, the better the savings. Parents can also set caps to monitor their teenagers' cell phone usage. Now, their business valet team will even take care of transferring your numbers and phones. You know that transference process? Yeah, it's normally a pain. And the reason why it's a pain is because they want it to be a pain. They want to lock you in. Well, Ting is going to take care of that for you. If you're tired of your current cell phone provider, talk to Ting, and they will do it for you. Now, if you're stuck in a contract, try this. Ting will give you credit if you have to pay an ETF fee, that's an early termination fee, to come to Ting. They offer 25% credit of your ETF, up to $75 per device, for coming to Ting. Just go to ting.com/ETF for more details. Now, 80% of the devices, so if you really love your phone, there's a good chance that it can come to Ting directly. Just use their device checker at ting.com/BYOD to see if your device can make the transition. And finally, if you're looking to upgrade, well, that's not a problem. Ting has a lot of options for you in their online shop. Once you have the device that you want to use with Ting, they'll walk you through getting started, including bringing over your existing number or getting a brand new one. Folks, Ting is kind of a no-brainer. If you want to get the same or better cell phone coverage as you're getting right now, but pay less money, and again, who doesn't want that? You've got to try Ting. Save money and better manage your cell usage with Ting. Viewers of Before You Buy save $25 off selected devices or mobile phone services just for getting started. That's beforeyoubuy.ting.com. Beforeyoubuy.ting.com. And we thank Ting for their support of Before You Buy. Folks, it's time for this. This has been kind of the hotness around the studio, but what good is a laptop-y iPad Pro if you don't have the accoutrements to make it a laptop? That's why our very own Megan Morrone checked out the Logitech Create Keyboard Case for iPad Pro.
I am Megan Morrone, and I host iOS Today, i5 for the iPhone, and Tech News Tonight. And today I am going to review the Logitech Create Backlit Keyboard Case for the iPad Pro. I have had the 12.9-inch iPad Pro for a few weeks, and I love it. I use it every day, and I can honestly say that I will never take a laptop on vacation again. In fact, I have almost fully replaced my MacBook Pro with the iPad Pro, and that would not have been remotely possible without the Logitech Keyboard Case. Apple sells a smart keyboard for the iPad Pro, but it's $20 more expensive than what Logitech has to offer, and by all accounts, it is not as good. This keyboard costs $150 compared to the $170 for the Apple Smart Keyboard. The Logitech Keyboard Case connects to the iPad Pro through the Smart Connector, so no more flaky Bluetooth pairing to worry about. And it's charged by the iPad, so you don't have to remember to charge yet another device. The keyboard also includes auto wake and sleep functions to conserve battery. The keyboard completely covers and protects the iPad Pro. It is a bit clunky looking, and it does add 1.6 pounds to an already weighty device. Also, it's not that easy to get the iPad Pro in and out of the case. The keyboard is backlit, and you can choose between two different levels of light, just as you would on a MacBook. And speaking of keys, the shortcut keys on the Logitech keyboard are super useful. I will now show you a few of my favorite. You can click the home button to get to the home screen and double click the home button to see everything that you have open. Use the volume keys on the keyboard to adjust the volume, because you do have access to the volume keys through the case, but they're kind of hard to push. They're not as easy as the keyboard shortcuts. The magnifying glass lets you search, and the globe key lets you switch between keyboards in case you want to use emoji. Command tab lets you cycle through all of your open programs. The lock key puts your iPad to sleep, and the home plus the lock key will take a screenshot. You can hold the home key down to get Siri. If you use Command plus Shift in any program, it will show you all of the shortcut keys. The case itself is made of fabric and plastic. It was designed with Apple, but not by Apple, and that's kind of obvious. It's not my favorite case. Leo bought the red one. It also comes in blue and black. There are two modes to use the case, typing and viewing. Typing is most obvious, but folding it back against itself for viewing mode isn't as obvious, but it works. And it's pretty sturdy when you hold it. Here are the pros. The keyboard is easy and comfortable to use for long periods of time. The shortcut keys make your iPad a more productive machine for creating content and not just consuming it. The case leaves you full access to all the ports that you need and holes for the 4 speakers too. And you don't need to charge the keyboard separately. You don't need to turn off the keyboard or your iPad. Just close the case and both devices and go to sleep and you're ready to go. The case is water repellent on the outside. The Logitech keyboard is cheaper than Apple's Smart Keyboard and it's available now. Here are the cons. It can be hard to take the iPad in and out of the case, and you might want to do that to watch movies or to draw. The first few times I was convinced I was doing something wrong and I was going to break the iPad on the case or the case. The plastic is even bending a little bit from taking it in and out. Of course, you can leave the iPad in the keyboard case and fold it back to use it in viewing mode, and that's probably what I'll end up doing from now on. The look and weight of the case is not as streamlined as I would like. The bright red makes the professional device seem a little bit like a toy, and this might be a lot to ask, but it would have been great to have a shortcut key for slide over and split view to make multitasking even easier. I've also heard a lot of people complain that the Logitech keyboard doesn't let you adjust the angle of the keyboard, but that has not been a problem for me. If adjusting the angle of your iPad is really important to you, you might also want to try the Logitech protective case with any angle stand. That would be $80. If you have an iPad Pro and you're planning on using it to do a lot of typing, I would definitely give the Logitech keyboard case a buy. Back to you, Padre.
It's a buy for the Logitech Create Keyboard Case for iPad Pro. At $150, it may sound kind of pricey, but if you've already shelled out $1,100 for your iPad Pro, it's a really good accessory and it's a nice way to get extra features, extra functionality out of what you've already purchased. We want to thank Megan Morrone for her review. Of course, you can find Megan here on the TWiT TV network every weekday at 4:00 p.m. Pacific time for Tech News Tonight. That's all the news that's fit to report in the evening. And of course, for iOS Today and i5 for the iPhone. Well, let's move away from growing tech things and iPad keyboards and instead talk about sound, specifically about sound in your house, sound in your office, sound that just goes everywhere. Well, if you want high quality network sound, there really is one name in the game, and that's Sonos, which is why we gave the Sonos 5 to Myriam Joire to find out if this is the system you want pumping out your holiday tunes.
Hey, welcome to Before You Buy. This is Myriam Joire with the Sonos Play 5 Gen 2. Yes, this was actually just launched a couple of months ago. Well, maybe less than that, about a month ago now. And it is Sonos' highest end device right now, the Play 5. There was a Play 5 before, Gen 1, came out a few years back. It was also pretty high-end, but this is meant to replace it, and it is really, really great. Now, I don't have to introduce you to Sonos. You've probably heard what Sonos is and does. If you don't, it is a line of connected speakers that let you have music in multiple rooms in sync, which is really interesting, and provides apps for iOS, Android, and your Mac and your PC to basically play music on these speakers wirelessly in your house in sync. And it connects with most popular music services like Google Play Music, SoundCloud. I'll actually give you a list here because there is a whole bunch of them. SoundCloud, Google Play Music, Apple Music's coming soon since it just is a new thing. You've got Amazon Music, you have oh my God, so many things here. So, you know, they're all here on my Nexus. You can see them, all the services you can join. So basically, it installs an app on your. You install an app on your phone, which is a remote control for these speakers, and you set them up in your house. And you can buy 2 of these and make a stereo pair and have them in sync. One is left, one is right. Or you can have a single one. In this case, this is actually a stereo speaker. It has separate drivers for left and right, so it actually sounds like a stereo device. And then they have smaller ones. They have a Play 3 and a Play 1 that are not as high end. So price point, $500. It's pretty steep. Not as steep as the Devialet Phantom that I reviewed a while back. And frankly, it sounds really great for the money, but it is still a bit of an investment. While you're looking at a pretty substantial device, it's heavy. I can't lift it here right now. And so how does it sound? Well, it sounds great. You'll see some controls up here. I don't know if you can see them very well, but they're touch enabled. There's an LED here with a play pause button. So you can basically control the basics, play, pause without having to reach for your phone or your tablet or your PC or Mac. And that's basically all there is to it. But of course, this is a brand new device, and this is what Sonos is betting kind of like the next chapter of their product line on, combining really beautiful design. As you can see, it's a gorgeous product. You can't see it back here, but there's a power cord. There's an Ethernet port. I'm connected wirelessly right now, but there's Ethernet, so you can wire it up. There's also a 3.5 millimeter input jack that you can select from the app. So if you have like a computer or something plugged in that you don't necessarily, you maybe want to get YouTube video sound out of this thing, you can do that through the 3.5 millimeter jack. Or like an old mini disc player, perhaps you want to play tunes from. I'm old school that way. And then it sounds great. It's beautiful. And the big deal here is that it has this software feature in the app. You have to do it on iOS right now. It doesn't look like Android supports it yet, which lets you tune the speaker to the room. And so what's cool about that is it plays this weird sound, and you move your phone around the room kind of like this, up and down, various parts for about a minute or two. And it ends up setting the EQ of the speaker to match the room acoustics. And it sounds great. I did it in my house. I have high ceilings in San Francisco, and it worked just perfectly. It removed some of that boomy bassiness that it came with out of the box because of these high ceilings. So all in all, this is a really great product. It is a little on the pricey side, but you do get what you pay for. This sounds fantastic, is easy to use and to set up. Sonos' support is fantastic. I had some issues originally because this is a wireless G device and it doesn't want to connect to networks that are set to N only. And so I called them up and they totally walked me through this. They're really quite knowledgeable people. So another thing to keep in mind is that of course, Sonos, the remote app, lets you play any music that's on the device that you're using right now. So let me just quickly show you that. You have the ability to select right here, the music on my device right there. And if you go into it, this mobile device, it says, and select the artist, or say like the albums. You can see all the albums on this phone. And you can play them. Let me actually do that right now. And as you can see, you can use the volume rocker to crank the volume up and down, which is really nice while the up is up. And it shows you the album art. And of course, you get controls for next, previous track, all that. Again, this software has been around from Sonos for a while. It lets you control their older devices as well. But, in case you're new to Sonos, it's not just online services. Let me actually show you some of these online services I said earlier. You have a whole bunch of them here. You can add them. And then what I've added here from my account is Google Play Music, as you can see right there, and SoundCloud, and TuneIn Radio. These are my favorite ones. And so, I can go into SoundCloud, I can look at my likes, and I can say, listen to this one, for example. And it lets you play now or it lets you queue. So if you have multiple people having the remote app installed on your network, you can have them be part of the party and cue the music, so that the next song will be their selection instead of interrupting what's playing right now. So you can scrub through, of course, even on SoundCloud. There you go. Now, this does not support Bluetooth in any way. It only does Wi-Fi, of course, because it goes through Sonos' proprietary system in terms of, they have a way to synchronize multiple speakers, which is a really cool thing. Yeah, so pros and cons. Great sound quality. This is a fantastic sounding speaker for the money. It is a little pricey though, so that's a con, I suppose. But then again, I reviewed the Devialet Phantom, and that thing costs, $2,000, $3,000, depending on the config. So, and you really need two to make it work, so you're looking at double that. I think this is a better bang for the buck, frankly, but it doesn't sound quite as good, of course, as the Phantom. Still, in this price range, you'd be hard-pressed to find something that sounds better. The ability to have multiple of these in your multiple rooms, have multiple using one for the left, one the right channel, all in sync is really great. The app is pretty nice. the one thing I love about it is that it gives you a consistent user experience regardless of the service you're using. So whether you're browsing your own music library on the phone or browsing from a NAS because it supports browsing from media servers, or you're browsing from your Google Play library in the cloud or your SoundCloud likes and playlists, it will present a unified user experience. So it's interesting. Of course, in some cases, it makes some things a little bit harder to do, like search. There's a search button, but the search results are not going to be quite as accurate and as drilled down as you'd find on, say, Google Play directly. So just keep that in mind. Cons. I can't really think of too many other than the lack of Bluetooth. You can't connect a Bluetooth device directly, but that's really not what this is designed to do. You can also put it vertically. There's rubber feet on one side here so that you can stack it up. So if you have two of them in the room, it looks a little bit more like a traditional stereo setup. And so overall, I think the Sonos, even though it's a little pricey and great sounding, is a buy. And I would recommend checking it out, especially if you already have some Sonos devices, you're looking to upgrade or add something to a room. And if you're brand new to you have a new home or something and you want to get a new speaker and get started, the Sonos ecosystem is a pretty solid proposition. So consider that. So this is the Sonos Play 5 here on Before You Buy, here at the Brick House Studios.
It's a buy for the Sonos 5 from Myriam Joire. Now, I have to say that Sonos gets a bad rep as being ridiculously expensive. They've come way down in price, and I would put the quality of their gear against anyone in the market. And really, if you think about sound systems that can go over an entire house through the network and be synced up and sound excellent, Sonos is kind of alone in the class. So if you are looking for some hi-fi, Wi-Fi sound, you got to check out the Sonos 5. Now, Myriam Joire, of course, can be found here on Twit TV often for Before You Buy, but she's also on All About Android quite a lot. And if you want to see what she's been doing, just go to her Twitter account at TankGirl. That's TankGirl, remove all the vowels, and see what she's been up to. When we come back, we're going to do a little bit of a Christmas shopping list. I wanted to show you two things that you might want to consider for the geek in your life. But before we do that, let's thank the second sponsor of this episode of Before You Buy, and it's iFixit. Now, iFixit has become the go-to place for all of our tools, all of our gear, and all of our knowledge when we need to fix things. iFixit has everything from 15,000 free repair guides for all the electronics, the doodads, the gadgets that you might need to fix, plus the tools and the repair parts that you'll need. They've got something special for us, something that's brand new. Brian and I have both loved the iFixit Protect Toolkit. Well, they've updated it. They took a look at everything that people wanted out of the toolkit, and they came up with this. Now, the first thing you'll notice is it's a lot smaller than the old iFixit Protect Toolkit tool roll. That's because they've made it more compact. People said, hey, look, I like all the tools, but I want to be able to carry it. The other thing that they fixed, and this I really, really love because it shows attention to detail, is this. This is the 64-bit driver tool set, just like you had in the other kit, but these are held magnetically to the carrier. The nice thing about this is in the old set, you had these little vinyl holders. Well, the vinyl holders would get lost or you'd put the bits back in the wrong place. This is all held into the case by a magnetic base, and it keeps everything so nice, so neat, and so organized. You're going to get all the same things that you expect. You've got the driver, you've got the extension kit, and of course over here you've got those spudgers that you need to open up cases without destroying them, tweezers, electrostatic tools, the little case knife that I love so much. This is great for when I need to open up toys. And of course, if you need to remove screens from your iPad or your iPhone, you've got a little suction cup, plus the anti-stat wrist wrap. This shows you that iFixit isn't just making things that you might want. They're making things that you have asked for. If you're looking to fix your devices, if you're looking to modify, if you're looking to make, this is the toy, the kit, the tool set that you want under your Christmas tree. This is gorgeous, and I want you to try it out because the right tools make all the difference when you're being imaginative with your devices. And the best part, it's the same price as the classic Protect Toolkit. This is only $64.95. And of course, it's backed by iFixit's lifetime warranty. But buy it because it's awesome. Buy it because we use it. Buy it because, well, it's the right thing for you to have. Folks, we want you to purchase one for yourself. Just try it, or purchase one for a loved one who you know likes to mess around with his gadgets. Visit iFixit.com/twit to purchase one for yourself, plus all those DIYers and techies on your gift list. The new ProTech Toolkit makes the perfect gift, and if you use our code before you buy, you'll save $10 off your purchase. Again, that's iFixit.com/twit and the purchase code before you buy. Go ahead and use that. You're going to save $10 off any purchase of $50 or more, and I thank iFixit for their support of Before You Buy. Let's get to the gift list. I've got two products that I think you may want to consider for that special geek in your life, or maybe consider for yourself. The first is sound. Now, we have been using these in the Twit Brickhouse. This is the ATH, the Audio-Technica M50X. Now, the M50X is different from the M50 in that it has the detachable cord, but essentially it's the same. This is our golden standard. This is the one that we've gone with over any other headphone. We've had Sennheisers, we've had Bose, we've had, pretty much all the high-end and the low-end Beats that into the studio. We've tried them all, and these are the ones we keep going back to because they sound great, they're comfortable, all-day comfort. Remember, editors have to have these things on their heads the entire day, and they're priced well below anything you might have from a competitor. Of course, Audio-Technica is not happy to sit on their laurels, so they came up with this. This is the ATH-MSR7. Now, imagine it as being the M50, but on steroids. This is how it looks. I have to say, folks, this is one of the sexiest set of headphones that I have ever received. But it's not just style. I mean, if you wanted style and you didn't care about audio quality, you didn't care about what it actually did, you would pick yourself up a set of other headphones. But what this does is it gives you a lot of the same engineering. 45mm drivers, really, really pure sound. So it doesn't add anything to the bass. It doesn't add artificial mid-range. It's going to give you exactly how the sound files are supposed to sound. Now, it is collapsible, so if you want to take this on the road, you can. It's also incredibly durable. But what I like about the MSR7s is the comfort. Remember, we're looking at studio monitors, something that you'll have on your ears all day. These are closed back, so it's going to be able to shut out a lot of the background noise. They are completely adjustable, but these cushions, and if you look at them, they are oversized, so they'll fit over your ears. I love the M50s, but I will not use M50s now that I've used the MSR7s. Of course, they're going to include all the regular gadgets and doodads that you expect out of a high-end set of headphones. You've got multiple cables, so you can use it as a straight 3.5mm stereo device. They've got the cables, so you can use it with your mobile devices if you want to add a microphone so you can make phone calls. And of course, you've got the leather case so that you can carry them without destroying them. Now, if you are looking for high-end audio, look no further. Even though these only retail for about $220, I would say these are the best headphones that you can get for under $400. If you can't go with $220, of course, always check out the M50s. The M50s are lower priced. They have a lot of the same technology. But if you're willing to pay a little bit extra for undoubtedly the most comfortable headphones I have ever put on my head, the best sounding headphones I've ever had on my head for less than $400, you got to buy the ATH-MSR7 from Audio-Technica. Check it out, and trust me, you're going to like it. So if you are an audiophile, or if you have an audiophile in your family, that's a great gift. Now let's talk about something that's a bit more fun. I mean, audio is great, but what about stuff that has no productive use? What about something that's just for giggles? Well, that's what we have with this. It's a drone, but it doesn't fly. This is the Parrot Sumo. It's a jumping drone. It's $120, so it is a little bit pricey. And to be honest, when we first got this into the studio, when Carson handed this to me in a big box of stuff, I said, no. I mean, I fly drones. Why am I going to want this little piece of plastic? But I have to say, after Thanksgiving, because I brought this to Las Vegas and I let my nephew and my niece play with it, this was the most fun they have ever had. And because it's not flying, because it's on the ground, it's also a lot more safe. Now let me show you what it does. It connects to your device. So they say it will connect to iOS or Android, but to be fair, if you try to connect this to an Android device, it will be horrible. If you come back to the wide shot, Ryan. So there's a camera on the front of this device through which you can see. So you get to fly this FPV, first-person view. Everything is controlled. If I go ahead and start this up, everything is controlled via the onboard interface, and I just turn and I lean to make this thing work. So let me put this on the floor, and I'm going to show you what it looks like. I'm going to have to turn myself to this camera here so that I can tell me when I got a good view, Brian. Does that work? So this is my throttle. And over here, I have all the special features. I can make it jump. I can make it spin 360 degrees a couple of times. I can make it metronome. I can make it slalom. But to control it, I just do this. Put my finger on this, and now I can swing this back and forth. Let's see how well I can pilot this. It is connected directly to the Wi-Fi on the drone. Oh, I'm not a great driver here. So if you are connected, unfortunately, we can't also connect to the wireless network, so we weren't able to AirPlay the video. Otherwise, that's exactly what we'd be doing. Put the camera on it. Let me show you what a 360 spin looks like. This is kind of cool. This is what the kids loved. They press a button, and they make it do that. Or I make it slalom. So these are all pre-programmed. Now, the other thing that you can do with this is you can talk through the drone. There's a talk feature, so I can walk up to someone and make it. And I can also jump. It takes a little bit more, so let me do this. And let's say jump straight up. There we go. So, I mean, this, and what I like about it is it's so durable. I actually had dogs, I'm stuck on cables. I had dogs who were chewing on this device, and, hey, there we go. Hey, I'm gonna come straight at you, Jason. Nah. What you got? What? Oh, that's my bag. Sorry, how about that? That's, okay, back up. I actually may have knocked the battery out. Oh, no, wait, spin it again. Wait, I want What you got? Now, the other cool thing about this is if you have to buy an additional app, unfortunately. They do upsell you on this. You can program like choreography. So if your kids wanted to do a little shoot, they could program based on distance, where exactly it's going to travel, and they can replay it over and over again. In fact, it's something that the Corridor Digital guys, some internet content creators who I love their work, they've used this in a couple of their videos to show off what it looks like when you have an automated cameraman. And the driving, the driving actually gets a lot easier as you go. So yeah, $120 is a lot of money, especially when you consider that you can get yourself a drone for $25, $30. But you know, if you've got someone who loves their iOS device and just wants to play with a remote control vehicle that is easy to pick up and get going, actually, what does this undulation do? Oh, wait, it's like it just shakes its butt. Oh, sweet, okay, how about that? Let's spin it again. How about that? This might be the device for you. So again, this is the Parrot. This is a sumo jumping drone. Go ahead and pick one up. Try it out, see if you like it. Now, I will say over the next couple of weeks, we're gonna show you a few devices, more and more devices that you may want to pick up for the people on your holiday gift list. We're always gonna show you something practical, but we're also gonna try to get you something fun. I want to thank everyone who made this show possible. Of course, to our reviewers, that's Leo, that's Megan, that's Myriam, Joire, and of course to the people who make it possible in the studio. Carson, our super producer, to Lisa and Leo who let us do Before You Buy, and of course to my TD, Brian, Cranky Hippo. What do you do on the Twit TV network?
Well, when I'm not working on this show, I push the buttons on All About Android, This Week in Enterprise Tech. You can also see me on the new Screensavers tomorrow, Saturday, which you've been on a few times, and we do a show together. Know-how, that's what it is.
Yeah, it's about knowledge and stuff.
Yeah, which I quickly forget about every week.
That's how it works. Folks, thank you for joining us, and remember, you gotta watch before you drone.